Well, folks, welcome back to the Wine Zone. I'm sitting in the Royal Canadian Yacht Club head office with Luc Bouchard, who comes and visits Canada, visits Toronto, visits Canada every year with a great number of Burgundies. We taste the latest vintage, and today we tasted the 2010 wines that were spectacular. Although I saw fewer wines than I've seen in previous years, so fewer reds. So my sense is that you have, God, I don't want to call it a problem of stock, but I mean it's a shorter vintage, and you're very carefully allocating to preserve all markets. Is that kind of a good?
It's a good analysis.
Okay.
Konrad. I would say that. Yeah, it's true that we brought almost same amount, perhaps a bit less, but yeah, you're right. Just because we have less, it was very small crop. We produced 30% less average than normal crop, so it's very small production. And it's true that we preserve our markets. It means that in 10 we are not planning to have any new market. We gave allocation to our old friends and to people who have been supporting Bouchard and Vinsider wines for many years.
I understand. We talked about this last year, in that we were talking briefly about the Chinese market and how many people are screaming into the Chinese market, seeing it as an opportunity. But in Burgundy, you're a little more wise and a little more restrained about that. You say, well, let's see what happens if they're real, because we can't lose the market that we've already built. And let's face it, the market for Burgundy, I think, is very widespread, and everywhere there are little bits that sell regularly. So are you seeing in Canada any kind of diminishment of the market, or is it again just very solid, very slow to grow? Or
I would say,
diminish?
Of course, we no, Canada. It's for Bouchard and Feb. It's definitely an important market, and we see some grow every year. Then, of course, according to the economic situation, and there's some up and down, but it's definitely a market where we see more and more wine lovers. It's already a rather mature market. And I guess especially here in Toronto, so it's rather stable. Then it's question, of course, of allocation, availability of wines, and because we also have nice wines available more on the entry level, like Bourgogne or Chablis or Petit Chablis. So it makes a wine available all over the year. And then when people like this quality of wine and like to go further into the range, and when the Grand Cru and the Premier Cru arrive, they just try to pick this wine. Yeah.
With okay, it's been several years now since the movie Sideways, right? And the exceptional publicity given to Pinot Noir. There was a big surge at the beginning. It was mostly inexpensive Pinot Noir, and then there was, of course, a great deal of cheap Pinot Noir created to fill that market. In the long run, in the 5 years since that movie, has the pressures on Burgundy grown? Has there been more interest in Burgundy, even though the prices have continued going higher?
It's certainly after that movie more interest in Pinot Noir in general.
In general, yeah.
And then there's still many people who don't know that Pommard or Beaune is made of Pinot Noir.
Right.
So if they don't have the right ambassadors to let them know, it takes time. But definitely, and there were more interest of Pinot Noir, and of course at the end it brought more interest in Burgundy Reds. Yeah. But it's taking time. But again, many people when they trust a name like Bouchard Pere and they like. And if they like Pinot Noir, but they need some people explaining them that Burgundy is made from Pinot Noir.
Right,
yeah,
right.
But of course, many collectors of wine lovers know that. But in that case, I would say that movie brought new consumer who perhaps didn't drink Pinot Noir before. It's why. And this new consumer now may arrive at Burgundy.
Eventually, hopefully, they will find Burgundy.
Eventually, they will find Burgundy. Yeah.
But obviously,
But only on on our entry level, like we have the Bourgogne Pinot Lavigné. That's on Pinot Noir is written on the label. Of course, as you know, for the Grand Cru or Premier Cru or village level, we are not allowed to put Pinot Noir on the front label.
Mm-hmm.
But on generic wine, we are allowed. So at least it brought for people who like to buy Pinot Noir, and just when they arrive at Bourgogne Pinot, they can recognize the name Pinot Noir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I imagine that also in the 5 years, because of the greater demand on Pinot Noir, there's been many more people in the world producing or trying to produce Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Now, you travel the world selling some of the greatest Pinot Noirs in the world, and so people must be constantly approaching you and saying, how's mine compared to yours?
Of course, the competition is strong.
Is anybody coming close?
Competition is strong, and it's good for us because in the way that we are never set up. We always work very hard. How can we improve? It's why we work very hard at Bouchard now with the new facilities we have since 2005. So we have changed. We can really produce great wine every vintage, or different good wine, good quality of wine every vintage. I don't say every vintage looks the same. They're all different.
They're all different. But in the past years that I've been tasting these wines, year after year after year, there's a consistency of balance and charm and ripeness.
I guess the new winery that we had since 2005 vintage helped us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we know we beat that new winery because the competition is strong, and just because we believe that producing good wine is not enough. We need to produce wine of exception, wine that cannot be produced in other places. And it's wine of terroir, wine reflecting their own terroir. We are lucky enough to have terroir. We have a wonderful collection of terroir at Bouchard Pere terroir that are 1,000 years old. So we have some advantage. We just need to still take advantage of that and to bring the terroir into the bowl and to give the purity of the terroir into the bowl. That's what we like to do, and to take advantage of our wonderful collection of terroir. And against the international Pinot Noir competition, there are serious Pinot Noir produced in other places, but still we believe that because of this terroir that are just Pinot Noir is planted all around the world, terroir of Burgundy are unique. So, and then the signature of Bouchard makes that it gives a good interpretation of the expression of the terroir.
It does, and we've just tasted 25 wines, and they're all either Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, and yet every single one is unique.
It's
unique,
fun.
Yeah. It's like 20 people, right?
Definitely, they're all different. Definitely, yeah.
But the market is constantly changing. No matter how consistent the wines are, despite vintage differences. The Burgundy is Burgundy. Burgundy is always Burgundy. What's going on in the world? Are there places that are sort of drinking more red, drinking more white in terms of Burgundy? Are there places in the world that are putting more pressure on you than other places? And what are they?
So depends of the country. Some are more red oriented, more white oriented. What we see that always Burgundy in general and Bouchard is strong on whites, because even in countries where they're drink more red than whites, into the whites Burgundy wine do well, and Bouchard does well. And William Febvre, of course, now. Then still you have countries where they drink more red than whites. Pressure is question of, again, is always question of allocation. And so we cannot give what we don't have. We work hard for quality, and then our headache is to split our production, our allocation in different markets.
Okay.
And just sometime every market likes to have more. Like here this year, I'm sure that there were people who like to have a bit more of Corton Charlemagne or Enfant Jésus, but that's it. It's very limited production, and we just try to explain all our friends around the world. And there are more and more people interested in wines, more and more people interested in high-end wine of Burgundy, and we just explain that is not because the demand is bigger than we can produce more.
So for those who do have some great Burgundies and have been holding them. A couple of questions. I want you to give me a bit of an assessment of 2010. Okay, obviously different from 2009. Tell me about how the reds and the whites are different, and tell me about how the reds are different from the Côte de Nuit and the Côte de Beaune.
So, 2010 in 09, it's really two opposite style of vintage. 09 was a more mature style of vintage. We had more sunny, more sun, so it gives a more powerful style of vintage, more richness, a lot of fruit, very nice balance. 09 was we had also very good. We had enough water, so we had a very good minerality as well. It was not too dry, so for the reds. So it means versus 2010 vintage, it's a vintage where we had rather first a very small crop, as we say, so we get concentration, but we were also because we harvested from 20th of September. So, and September was an extremely very sunny, but never too much hot. It was not too much heatness, and we were able. The night were very cool, and we were able to cook good level of acidity. So in 10 we have a wonderful purity of fruit, good definition of each terroir, a lot of precision. Each wine show their face from now. The terroir show their face from now. Versus to 09. At the same stage, you know, the 09 has still their baby face.
The big fruit, the big
fruit,
fatness.
and it's going to take a big time for the wine to show their face. Versus to 10, we are already there. The wine,
they seem more austere, but they've got great length.
Great drinks as well. And on the white side, perhaps 09 was certainly more inviting style of vintage, more opulent, rounder, easier wine to understand. Versus the 10 white, it's very small yields, so it gives a lot of concentration, and we were able to keep a lot of acidity, a good level of acidity. So it's quite rare to have in the same time, in the same vintage, that concentration and that level of acidity. That gives a lot of vibrant wine with precision, wine with a lot of grip, a lot of tension.
Yeah, terrific. So those are both vintages that you need to put in your cellar and keep for a few years to get some. But okay, so what should people be drinking right now?
At time, perfectly as a red, if you have some 07 from our estate, or some 07 or some 06, for example, at the Enfant Jésus 06 or Roland Cailleret 06.
You're talking about 2000, so it's not 1906.
No,
you're not 2000.
Yeah, already. If you have, no, actually some 96 better red, some to keep them, and even 95. At time you can drink definitely some 2000, 2001, some 07, some 06, 2005, 06, 2007. On the white side, definitely some Village 09, some you can drink some 01, some of the 04, some of the 06 whites are very nice from now, very nice for drinking now. But keep your red 05, keep your red 05, drink your 06, drink your 07, and 08 white you can keep them. If it's Grand Cru or Premier Cru, longer, definitely. Yeah, it's
take notes. Take detailed notes, and of course the Pinot Noir La Vigne, which is not meant for aging at all. It's just a
at time
lovely...
Pinot Noir La Vigne, just perfect for drinking now. On the red, if you find some of the Beaune du Château 08, very nice for drinking now. On the white side, of course, the Chablis Royaux from William Fèvre 2010. And the Petit Chablis Bouchard. Actually, just if you like a very friendly wine as aperitif, or have the glass of Macon Saint-Pierre 2010, just refreshing, fruity, perfect as aperitif, perfect on appetizer. So it's just fun having now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And see you all again soon in the Wine Zone. Bye bye.